had to be someone where it was an upgrade, right? It was a step up to become the OC. Clemson's a great job, but you're not going to see like Cliff Kingsbury, for example. People were throwing that out there. That would not be a step up for Cliff Kingsbury. This guy has all the money in the world.
Also, I don't know.
In the
I don't
NFL.
know if you want him. I don't know if you.
Yes,
want him. Just saying.
And I don't think Cliff wants to come to Clemson. Like I think Cliff is a big city man. Except besides Lubbock, I saw a tweet that and I hope this wasn't fake. He booked a one-way ticket to Thailand and is not returning anybody's calls about coaching. So,
there you go.
You know which places are very different, Mac? Clemson and Thailand. Okay,
just
so
a little bit.
Cliff is off to Thailand, and what I found out later, by the way, when I called Mac and said Garrett Riley. Mac lied to my face. He knew it was Garrett Riley.
Hey.
Because Mac has sources. But he didn't tell me. And he was like, oh, no. And he threw me off the scent, which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, Mac, crazy situation here. I think this is an upgrade for Clemson and what they needed to do. What can we expect, do you think, from a Garrett Riley offense?
A lot of expectation. From Jump Street, I think that there was a lot of articles that were already written, and I kind of tweeted this out. I said, hey, Clemson, hold on to those receipts. Bring those back up come September when we start playing football, because so many people just, kind of discrediting and discounting the Tigers. And, I mean, I guess maybe that makes sense if you don't make any changes and you think how much natural progression can there, really be? How much growth can we truly see? But I think that's a little foolish, too. You're going to see a quarterback starting as the guy for a whole offseason and then for the foreseeable future. So I think that was a little bit silly. But now that you've got a guy that, man, what he did for TCU, what he did for Max Duggan, a guy that wasn't even the starter going into the season to end up as a Heisman finalist, who I voted as the Heisman. I mean, look out. I think there's going to be some really fun things that happen at Clemson. You look at what he's been able to do. He is a run first, second, third guy.
Yes.
And then let's be explosive. KG's favorite thing. You got to have those explosive plays. They are going to push the ball downfield. That's just what we've seen from Riley. That's what we've seen from his brother. That's the tree that he comes from. It's going to be power air raid at the end of the day. And I'm excited to see that, especially with, having a young quarterback, having a stallion in the backfield too, actually, with Shipley and Maffa, and then some young cats that maybe are ready quicker than not to play. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm excited to see it. The interesting thing for me, KG, is just how much control does he have? Because he's going to make over $2 million in 23. I don't think you're paying a guy $2 million to come in and say, hey, just kind of tweak what we're doing. Sure. Just kind of take some plays out, add some. I think it's his. I mean, that just makes sense to me. If you're going to make a move this drastic that sends shockwaves through college football, you've got to give them the keys to the car and you got to fill it up with premium. Like, let's go. Let's get it going. And so to me, I think that's what we're going to see. And just a sample of that. What did TCU do this year? 450 passing attempts, 560 rushing attempts. That's balance. That's explosion. They, as a team, averaged over 5 yards a rush. Their number one guy averaged over 6 yards a rush. Passing through the air, they're going 10 yards a clip. I mean, that's what you have to see. That's the style of football that Clemson was able to do during this dynastic run. Shout out Jordan Cornette for the word. And I think that they get back to that. There's a lot of excitement. I know I'm a homer. I know you see this helmet behind me and same for you, but I might be at every spring ball practice. We'll see. If they let me, I might be there.
Sure. And I think Garrett Riley's track record really attracted Dabo because there's nothing gimmicky about what Garrett Riley was doing at TCU. No. When you run the ball 100 more times than you pass it, that's sustainable. And especially at Clemson, when you have the kind of running backs that you currently have and the running backs that you've always had, that's something that can work. It's not the same as when Clemson went and hired Chad Morris, even though there are some similarities because you went out and got an outside mind and it changed your program.
Guy from Texas. What the heck?
And a guy from Texas. That's a good point. But in the end, Chad Morris's offense was hard on your defense. And so were you going to be able to win a natty with that offense? Probably not. And so you had to eventually make some tweaks. And now you have just a different level of talent, even though the wide receivers back in that day were pretty good too. But I think the balance is going to be really, really important. And honestly, what people like when you think of Lincoln Riley, I know they're different guys, but they're also brothers and they come from the same coaching tree. People do not talk about enough how much Lincoln Riley runs the ball, specifically how much he ran it at Oklahoma. So you need that balance. And running it with your quarterback, which we obviously saw with Duggan. And I think we'll see that with Klubnik as well in this new Garrett Riley offense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And you bring up the quarterback runs and the things that they're doing there. He had his first two guys who one kind of separate. I'd love to see a little bit more. Like if we saw, like 150 plus from Ship in regards to carries, we saw 135, 140 from Muffa, and then 100 plus from your quarterback in Cade Klubnik. I think that's where you want to be. That's the sweet spot. If you can figure that out, have kind of that split carry where guys are still staying fresh. You still have a major threat at the quarterback position. You have to respect it. Those safeties start creeping up. That's when you go over the top. And we saw that big play capability. Who's going to step up for Clemson in that aspect? We'll find out.